Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Mezzanine, the Broadway podcast for the Broadway fans. Here we talk about all things Broadway news, Broadway grosses, and let's be honest, all of the tea and gossip that happens week to week in the Broadway stratosphere. Could I possibly say Broadway more? I'm gonna say it probably 30 times in this episode, and that's a low bet. I am your host, Lindsay Stone. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I have so much to tell you guys about because last week was truly a wild Broadway week. BroadwayCon. I attended the Maybe Happy Ending fan event, Party Like It's 2064. And last night, I truly saw a musical that changed my life. And I was not expecting it in any way, shape, form, or fashion. For some reason, this musical, I've always underestimated it. And I've heard it and I've just been like, that aesthetic is so deeply not me. It sounds ick. It sounds dusty. It sounds gross. I literally have never been interested in this musical. Last night, I love finding a new musical. Okay, here's some things. I love not knowing what's going to happen in a musical. That is the best feeling in the world. I love watching something and being like, wait, is this my new favorite thing? So we'll get to it. Because it was amazing and I can't wait to talk about it. But first, we got to chat about BroadwayCon. Honestly, the last BroadwayCon, which was the first BroadwayCon I ever attended, was back in July. Not long ago at all. Now, 6 months later, we have the second BroadwayCon. And it used to apparently be in the winter, which is odd to me because who wants to visit New York in the winter? Nevertheless, it was awesome. Awesome. I was not planning on going to this BroadwayCon just for no reason in particular. Just was like, oh, it's okay. Like, I don't have to go. I went to the one 6 months ago. I am so happy that I did for quite a few reasons. First, I loved meeting my Broadway besties there. You guys are so sweet, so cool. Meeting you guys is the best thing in the world. So if you see me, please don't hesitate to say hi. It makes my entire life. And I just like coming face to face, like that makes it. That makes it for me because, okay, side tangent. The best and worst thing about having a podcast is that people listen to it. That is the best and the worst part. Because not having to do with BroadwayCon, but last week, me and Bryn chatted about Brent Comer, gushed, obsessed is a better word. Obsessed over Brent Comer for like 30 minutes on the episode. And Brent Comer listened. And I adore Brent Comer. He's a fantastic person. But I genuinely want to be like, I don't want the people I obsess over to know that I do that. Like, let me do this in the privacy of my own home on my safe space that is From the Mezzanine. I don't want you to acknowledge the fact that this is how I am, you know? So when Brent Comer posted the app on his story, I was like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you, King, for supporting us. But also, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. I did not tag him in anything about the episode. I was like, let me just lay under the radar with this one because I know the girlies are going to love it. The Broadway besties are going to love this, but I need Brent not to see it. It's like equivalent of me talking about, oh my God, Jeremy Jordan all the time. And then thinking about the fact that maybe it could actually reach his ears is so embarrassing to me. So anyways, like it's a very odd situation that I've put myself in here. I understand that. And I'm so glad that he's supportive. But I was really at a crossroads last week because I was like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. But also don't listen to the episode. I messaged him. I was like, nobody's ego is meant to hold what we have said about you on the podcast. Nobody's ego is meant for that. So don't listen. And he listened. Anyways, so yeah, side tangent. The best part about having the podcast, the half of that people do listen, is that I meet you guys, the Broadway besties who have listened to the pod. I love y'all so much. Y'all are seriously the coolest, cutest ever in the whole entire world. So that was definitely a very big high point for me of BroadwayCon, was running into a couple of you guys. But my favorite panel, which this is the panel that once it was announced, I was like, okay, I've got to go to BroadwayCon. It was Lin-Manuel Miranda doing the All In panel. And I definitely, for some reason, thought that this was only going to be him talking about All In, a comedy about love, which, while I'm recording this, February 16th is the last day that this show is on Broadway, unfortunately, and I never saw it. Oh, well. So that's what I thought it was going to be. But no. Why would Lin-Manuel Miranda ever do the least? He's always going to do the most. So what did he do? He brought Joshua Henry and Anissa Folds with him to the panel, and they performed one song from every step of Lin-Manuel Miranda's career, starting off with In the Heights, and then they sang Bring It On, the musical, which I feel like a lot of people don't know Lin-Manuel Miranda did the music for that. And then they sang Moana, Mufasa, Hamilton, of course. Oh, wait, I got to show y'all Hamilton. It was posted everywhere, but I think we all need to hear Joshua Henry sing Wait For It one more time. So roll the clip. Life doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes, we rise till we fall. And if there's a reason I'm still alive, so many have died. I'm living up. Wait for it. Wasn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. The fact that my ears heard that and I witnessed that and I was in the room where it happened, that was really incredible. That was worth going to BroadwayCon alone. And I think a lot of people went to BroadwayCon for this specific panel. It was a madhouse to get in there. Everybody was like, don't push through the doors. And all the theater kids were like bumping elbows, like trying to get to their seats. It was funny. Sorry. It was funny. But hey, we take this shit seriously. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda. Hello. I don't blame anybody for doing what they have to do out there to get a good seat to see Lin. But yeah, that panel was awesome. And it wasn't necessarily anything we hadn't heard before. If you're a Lin fan, if you're a Lin apologist like you know all of this about his career. But having people sing his music and watching him react to people sing his music, 10 out of 10 experience. That was just so awesome. Another really incredible panel that I loved and was like second on my list of why I need to go to BroadwayCon was the fact that we got to hear from the novel writer of Wicked and the musical book writer of Wicked. Novel writer being Gregory Maguire and book of a musical being Winnie Holtzman. That was awesome. Unfortunately, Winnie was on Zoom, which I feel like, do y'all agree with me? They need to disclose that if that's the situation. At first, I was just like, oh my God, you're kidding. I've been to quite a few events where it's like a panel and you go because you think that you're going to see this person and then they're on Zoom. And that kind of sucks. I feel like they should disclose that. And maybe they did somewhere and I didn't see it. But Gregory Maguire was there in the flesh, which was so cool. And I loved seeing Winnie and Gregory just recount their memories and talk about the reasons behind why they made the choices that they did for the characters and the story and the plot and all of that. There was this really, really, really cool moment where they gave away a little secret that had never been heard before, which was why Elphaba Throp got her name. Roll the clip.
Nobody, I believe, has ever asked me where Elphaba's last name comes from. And her name is Elphaba Throp. Maybe you do know this. Throp is the sound that a house makes when it falls on your sister.
So cool, right? I love that. So that was another super duper high point for me with BroadwayCon. They didn't do as many games as they did at the previous one, which I really missed. I loved all of the games that they did. We did sit in on a Family Feud that was moderated by Jen Colella, who clearly has never watched Family Feud in her life. She had no idea what the rules were, but she was so funny. So anyways, BroadwayCon was amazing. I want to do a little haul for you guys. So one of the things that I bought was the Sense of the Stage candle. And these candles are made by people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and they're all Broadway themed. Once again, that's Scent of the Stage, and I bought the Rumble Ready candle. Oh my God, it smells so good. It's really just like a vanilla scent. It says on here something totally different. Tobacco, rich caramel. But I'm Rumble Ready when I got my Scent of the Stage candle lit, y'all. And next, I got some really cute stickers. These are from, I hope I can tell y'all where they're from. These are from Matthew and Amadi Art. These are so me. First one says MILF. Man, I love Fiero. Yeah, I needed that. Next one, certified Broadway girly. Duh. Gotta have. I don't know what I'm going to do with these stickers, though. Next, I have, how can I dance through life in these conditions? So cute. And then last thing that I got was, of course, I had to get a Broadway Stacks, my favorite. And I got the For Good bracelet because I was like, oh, the movie's coming out, so I'll have a good reason to wear it for a while. There. Wait, how do I get it to look normal for you guys on the... Sorry, it's not very easy to show you, but it's very, very pretty. And Broadway Stacks, the quality of her beads are just so nice. And she's so nice. Shout out Broadway Stacks. Loved seeing her. So that's my BroadwayCon recap. I don't think I have anything else to share with you guys about BroadwayCon. It was an amazing time. Love, love, love BroadwayCon. And you're also going to see a lot of the influencers that you love when you go to BroadwayCon because they're all there. Next up, let's talk about the Maybe Happy Ending fan event. Party Like It's 2064. So I won these tickets on the lottery. They were like $60, so more expensive than your typical lottery ticket, but worth it because we didn't know what would be in store when we bought these tickets. They hadn't announced what they were really going to do for the event. And to be honest, I kind of was expecting more. Sorry, it's true. I really was. I thought that we were going to have a couple more surprises. I'll get to that in a bit. But all in all, of course, you get to see the show when you got tickets to the fan event, which is awesome. And I love this show. That was my third time seeing it. Just as good as the first, just as emotional as the first, just as happy as the first, just as amazing. I love this show so much. And it has been stuck in my head and I don't have the freaking soundtrack to listen to, which is driving me nuts. It's supposed to come soon. They haven't released a date. They just say spring 2025. So honestly, I feel like it's going to come sooner rather than later, probably in March. What they did announce is they gave us these little QR codes in the tote bag that they gave us, which I'll show you all in just a second. And at the very end, they said, scan the QR code and you'll get what did it say? It's like a little clip of, like, so not exciting, a little clip of them singing the songs. And so it's like, this is your first look at the cast album. It's like, okay, I'm sorry. That was not exciting. That was not an exciting announcement. I definitely thought that at the end of it, they were going to announce a date for the cast album or that the cast album was here. So that was definitely a letdown, but we did get a cool playbill. It has a sticker on it that says Firefly Fan Event, Party Like It's 2064. On our seats, there were these tote bags that are so totally cute. Party Like It's 2064, Maybe Happy Ending. They're a really pretty lavender. So love that. And in the tote bags, we have these really cute Firefly pins that say Little Forest Robots. This is going to make no sense if you haven't seen the musical. I'm sorry, but it's awesome. And then at the end, the director, Michael Grief, the sound designer, the writers, and all of the swings and understudies came on stage and they answered questions from the audience. And then Darren Criss and Helen J. Shen and the rest of the cast came on stage and they all sang a medley that was created by Darren Criss. And Darren played the guitar. It was acoustic. And it was basically a medley of, honestly, majority of the songs. It was so beautiful. I posted a clip on my Instagram at From the Mezzanine Broadway if you want to check it out. Or, run the clip.
Today the air and soul is very clear and warm. Today the smiles too are warmer than the norm. Though the change is not profound, there is a specialness going around.
Yeah, so cute, so good. But as we were singing, they had us turn on these little finger lights so that we were the little fireflies. Sorry. Okay. So that was really fun, really special, really cool. I love that I was able to attend. And honestly, I'm really happy I have this tote bag. I would really want it if I didn't. So that was Maybe Happy Ending. It's the best musical on Broadway. It really is. And I need people to visit me. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my friends. Come visit me so I can take you to the show because you need to see it too. Okay. Last recap. Urinetown. Last night I saw Urinetown at New York City Center. And let me just tell y'all who is in the cast. Christopher Fitzgerald, who you know very well. as Ogie in Waitress. Keala Settle, who, by the way, did anybody know that Keala Settle is British? I had no idea. We know her as the bearded lady in The Greatest Showman, recently Miss Coddle or Codsworth in Wicked, Evil Woman, but she was in it, and she was Miss Pennywise. And we have Stephanie Sykes and what I was most excited about, Rainn Wilson, who I love from The Office, and I was so impressed with his performance. He played the evil father who owns Urine Good Company and is making everybody pay to pee. And I loved him. I thought his voice was amazing. This was his first time he's ever sang in front of people. And I really thought he was great. I really did. He did some talk singing, but it wasn't at all to his detriment. It really, the songs lended themselves to that. They were kind of scatty in a way. I don't even know where to begin. It was such a hilarious musical. And I'm boggled as to, y'all know I love comedies. Why has nobody told me to see Urinetown? I didn't know it was a comedy. I thought it was sad and boring. Boring. Gosh, that's so mean to say. But I did. I thought that it was drab. Everything I've seen, the aesthetic of it looks so drab. No, this was literally one of my new favorite shows, and I wish it was playing longer because I most certainly would see it again. And really interesting to note, we didn't have Jordan Fisher. Jordan Fisher plays the lead, Bobby Strong, and he called out the day that we attended, and we had the understudy Joshua Grosso. Let's see what he's been in before. He understudies literally everybody in the cast, which that's incredible. He has been in Gatsby, At the Art, The Band's Visit on a national tour, Les Mis on a national tour, In the Heights. Oh my gosh, I bet that was amazing. He is so good. I did not miss Jordan Fisher. I know a lot of people are Jordan Fisher enthusiasts. They love him. And I'm going to be very honest. I do think he's great. I think he's a very good person. I like him as a person. I have seen him on a stage only in Sweeney Todd, and I was not blown away by his performance. So when it was announced that he was out, I was kind of okay. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people in the audience were like, no. Not me. I was like, okay, I'm excited to see what this understudy has. And he was so good. And the fact that he did it, so Jordan Fisher called out for the matinee and the evening performance. Basically, the matinee was his rehearsal for his evening performance. He had never rehearsed this role. Superhero. I don't know how anybody does that, but he was so fabulous. I will be following his career from this point out because I think he will accomplish really amazing things. I loved him. Stephanie Styles was amazing in this. She played the role of Hope, and she was also in Ragtime, and she played the star character in Ragtime. Loved her. This was just an amazing cast. I loved the set. I loved Little Sally. I loved everything about Urinetown. I loved everything about it. I can't say one negative thing. And let me say, I did not read the reviews. I'm distancing myself from reviews, by the way, critical reviews, because I do not want them to influence the way that I feel about shows. And oftentimes I disagree with them. So, and I have such a unique look on theater and what I like and what I don't like. And I read the reviews before recording the pod, and I disagreed with all of them, and they were really negative. And if I would have read those before going to see Urinetown, maybe I wouldn't be feeling this way about it. Literally loved. Of course, all of the reviews are comparing it to a Broadway run. This is not a Broadway run. They did not have a ton of rehearsal. They don't have a huge set. So I don't have anything to compare it to. Urinetown was freaking amazing. Thank you for inviting me, New York City Center. I'm blown away, truly blown away. I haven't been blown away at a musical like this probably since maybe Happy Ending. That was the last musical where I went in completely not knowing what was going to happen, and I was so floored by the end of it. Same with Urinetown. The moment it started, I just was dying laughing. This is my humor. I love comedic musicals. Why go to a show if you're not going to laugh? No, there's so many reasons to go to shows where you don't laugh. But I really enjoy the ones where you laugh a lot more. That's just my type. Okay? I can't help it. And with that, I think that's all we have to review, which was a lot. Let's get into our Broadway grosses. We've been seeing so much switch up in the grosses recently, so I'm really excited to get a look at this because we've been tracking quite a few things, and this week is going to shed a light on those items we've been tracking. So first of all, of course, it's Wicked. Love to see it every single time, and it is soaring. It is defying gravity above The Lion King. by a lot. Wicked came in with $2.3 million last week. Lion King came in with 1.6, so big difference. Gypsy is 3, okay, at 1.5 million. Hamilton is 4, also at 1.5. Sunset Boulevard, whoa. Who is she? Sorry, you guys. Oh my God. Sunset Boulevard came in at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they have a 91% capacity. Death Becomes Her is 7. That's awesome with 1.2 million. Outsiders is 8, also with 1.2 million. MJ is 9. And All In, A Comedy About Love is 10. This is interesting with All In, A Comedy About Love. So they're closing out their run with Lin-Manuel Miranda, Annalee Ashford, Hank Azaria, and Tim Meadows. And this cast of the 4, honestly, okay, I'm sorry, it's the least appealing cast, I would say, out of everyone we've had. I'm surprised that they're not trying to close it out with a bigger bang. But leaving the grosses at 10, they've recouped their investment, I'm pretty sure. I wonder what they're paying these casts. Probably not that much because it's a lot of people's Broadway debut. And I think they're doing it for the love of the people they're doing it with. More so, I'm sure they're paying them a pretty penny. But when you have people cycling in and out, the pay also changes. Like, I bet Tim Meadows isn't making as much as Jimmy Fallon made. You know, y'all get the picture. This is a very unique situation over there at All In, A Comedy About Love. I do want to note Hell's Kitchen has bumped down to 11. They're at 98% capacity. That's incredible. It's not a news story, but Malia Joy Moon and Brandon Richard Dixon are leaving the cast, I believe, at the end of March. So if you want to see the well, it's not the OBC anymore because Shoshana's out, but if you want to see these OBC cast members who were Tony nominated run over to Hell's Kitchen, you really don't want to miss Malia Joy Moon. And I wonder if she's going to continue to have a career on Broadway, because I'm pretty sure I feel like I remember hearing she was on American Idol or something like that. Her path has always been singing, not so much performance. I could be so wrong. I need to do a deep dive on her and her career and her hopes and her dreams. But I wonder if this is only the beginning of a Broadway career or if there's more to come. Who knows? Moving on forward. Let's see what's at the bottom. Okay, Great Gatsby has dipped pretty substantially. So this is accounting for, I just want to note, the week ending on February 9th. So this is accounting for before Sarah Hyland has arrived, but after Eva Noblezada has left. So this is just Ryan McCartan carrying the cast, and it's not bad. They're at $1 million a week. Romeo and Juliet is also at $1 million a week, and they have 103 capacity, but they're not even near the top 10. It's just interesting. Moulin Rouge has dipped. Oh my God, can we talk about the rumors just for 1 second? There are rumors over at Moulin Rouge. Here's what I've heard. Jordan Fisher is going to be our next Christian. And he's going to close out the production, and the production is going to close on Broadway. I think that's a mistake, personally, but that's what I've heard. Redwood, this is still while they're in previews. It's not accounting for their opening. They're at 98% capacity, not bad, but they're grossing under $1 million. I don't know how many they have in their cast, but I don't think it's a lot, so that might be okay. O'Mary has dipped quite a bit. Yeah, quite a lot. They're almost at the very bottom of the musicals. At the bottom of the musicals, the lowest grossing musical is A Wonderful World, then Hadestown, then Six, then O'Mary. That's a big difference for O'Mary. I guess many people don't care about Betty Gilpin. Titus Burgess gonna change that right up, though. Interesting week for sure. Kind of like a sad nothing week, I would say, other than the fact that Gypsy is slaying the house. It's awesome. I'm so happy for Gypsy, and they deserve it. Gypsy's so good. That's another one recently that I saw and was just blown away by. For sure. Like Urinetown, you know. Let's get into our Broadway news, you guys. Oh my God. From the Mezzanine can predict the future. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Alex Joseph Grayson will be our next Dallas Winston at The Outsiders. I gotta tell you something. From the Mezzanine has predicted Liam Pierce being cast as Romeo and Juliet. We semi-predicted Charlie D'Amelio joining Anne Juliet. When Josh was on, we said, oh my gosh, they have to start casting influencers in the ensemble. What did they do? They cast the influencer of influencers in the ensemble. So I do think that maybe that was influenced by From the Mezzanine. But literally 2 weeks ago, Bryn and I were sitting right here and we were thinking, who should they cast? And we both agreed that it should be Alex Joseph Grayson. So you're welcome, Alex, for getting you cast in The Outsiders. No, that's actually crazy, though. That is actually insane that happened. I can't believe it. So we absolutely called it. This is an amazing casting. It's the only casting, if we're being honest. Alex Joseph Grayson was, other than Michaela Diamond, for me, when I saw Parade, he was my outstanding performer. Absolutely incredible. Wow. He is, without a doubt, going to be comparable to Joshua Boone, which is a wild statement to make, but I know that he will be. He will bring it. And he will give a performance that will make all of us proud. This is a perfect casting. Perfect. He'll be joining the cast on February 28th, so very soon, very, very soon. In the meantime, the role is being played by Jeremy Payton, who I saw as Dallas Winston. I saw him as Two-Bit, and he was very, very good. And Daryl Tofa will also be covering Dallas Winston. I have not seen him. But I do also want to note, while we're talking about some shakeup over at The Outsiders, we won't talk about it forever, I promise. I have to make up for last week where we talked about it for literal hours. Okay. Barton, I don't even know his last name. Barton, who is in the ensemble, he's a Soch. He has announced that he will be departing from the cast on March 16th, and it's rumored that that's going to be a big day for departures. So just keep your eye out. Maybe if you want, buy your tickets now for March 16th. I was thinking about it, and honestly, Joshua Boone was a very specific case. I'm not one to need to run to a theater if somebody's announced their departure. I didn't even see Jeremy Jordan again because I'd seen him 3 times, and let me tell you, when I am sitting there, I am relishing in the greatness that is Jeremy Jordan. I don't feel the need to go and see them one last time. Joshua Boone, I did because his performance is one of the best ones I've ever seen. Okay, I said I wasn't going to dive into this, but now I'm diving in and it's fine. This is my podcast. This is my safe space, so I have to use it. So anyways, yeah, I don't feel like I would need to run. A lot of people are suspecting that perhaps Jason Schmidt will be leaving the cast. I don't think that he is. Apparently, he said in a couple of lives that he's not and it doesn't have plans of leaving. Brent Comer has already said that he's not going to leave. That's not official, but he's mentioned it, that he's extended his contract. So, yeah, I feel safe. I feel good. I don't feel like there's another instance where I'm like going to be waking up at the crack of dawn to go and rush to see somebody before they go. Right now, my main priorities for what I want to see are Moulin Rouge. I really, really need to see Soleil Pfeiffer and John Cardoza and Andy Karl. Another priority for me right now, which is so random for me, is Anne Juliet. I really, really want to see it right now. Like, I can't even explain. I just really want to see it right now with Lance, with Charlie, or what's his real name? Joey Fatone, Liam Pierce, and Charlie D'Amelio. I just think right now is the time to see Anne Juliet, and I really want to give it another chance. Another main priority for me is Death Becomes Her. That one is kind of lesser of a priority. I more so just feel like I need to see it so that I can talk about it on the pod and let you guys know what I think. But what's coming up for me is I'm seeing Redwood next week. So excited. I think on Wednesday. And then I'm seeing Little Shop of Horrors finally the first week of March. I think that's all I have on the books right now. So yeah, those are my priorities. Let's move on to our next piece of news. Oh, there are some stories that just break you. There are some that come across my desk and I'm like, I'm not okay. This is one of them. I think I'm going to have to book myself maybe even a solo trip to London to see The Great Gatsby now, because we got full casting news. And it is so acutely me. It's so perfect. I cannot wait to see it. Corbin Bleu has been cast as Nick Carraway in the West End production of The Great Gatsby. I love that casting so much. First of all, I love Corbin Bleu. He is my favorite childhood star turned Broadway star. That's actually a really crazy thing to say. Is he my favorite? I think he is. There is competition in that category, but I do think he is. And Nick Carraway is such a perfect role for him. Gatsby is so bubblegum. It is so Disney. It is so Disney. So, like, even in the melodies. And I think he's going to be able to sing these songs. I think he's going to be able to just lean into this character so perfectly. He's just so Nick Carraway coded. That's what, like, half of my favorite casting. The other half of my favorite casting, Jamie Moscato is our Gatsby. Now, girls, I know we rarely talk about West End productions here. And as I am planning on going to the West End soon, I want to start talking about it more. If you don't know who Jamie Moscato is, please do a deep dive. Listen to him sing 17 or Freeze Your Brain from Heathers at the West End. He is so good. He was JD in Heathers. He was Christian in Moulin Rouge on the West End, and his Roxanne shook me to my core. I swoon for Jamie Moscato. I know that's like not a crazy statement, but y'all know that's like my thing, obviously. I love everybody who plays Christian ever. But he is so awesome. And the fact that he's going to be Gatsby, it's just like, okay, perfect. Let's go. I can't wait to see this show. So also something I wanted to know is Amber Davies, who was also in Pretty Woman on the West End, which y'all know I don't love that show. However, I do really like this girl. She's going to be playing Jordan Baker. So Amber Davies, she has a Broadway podcast, fellow Broadway podcaster. And her show is called Call to Stage. And she has a lot of our favorite people on her podcast. I haven't listened to it, but I see the clips all the time and I really enjoy them. Love her aesthetic. I love what she's doing. So I'm excited because I've been following her career. And I think she's so beautiful. She is a stunning person. Visually, she will be fabulous as Jordan Baker. And, you know, it's kind of funny how the people who originate the role set the look for the role. You'll know what I mean? Okay, obviously, people just call Christian in Moulin Rouge Aaron Tveit, who's our new Aaron Tveit, because they all look like Aaron Tveit. That's kind of what I'm saying, which I don't love. Like, I don't think we need to do that. I definitely don't think that's necessary, but it is bizarre. Oh, here's a like random one. I went to a 54 Below show on Monday. It was Broken Hearts Club, and I saw the understudy for Tom Francis's character in Sunset Boulevard, and his name's Diego. And I was like, they sound and also look a lot alike. They also don't look a lot alike. When, like, if you saw them too, just like in a photo side by side, you'd be like, they don't look a lot alike. But when they're both singing and their mannerisms, they're very similar. You know, it's something weird about casting. They're able to just like put these two people together who features and mannerisms and vocally really complement each other, and they're able to play the role in a very similar way. It's very interesting. So that's just what I think about this Amber Davies girl. She's very similar to Samantha Pauly. There it is. Samantha Pauly. Oh my gosh, she's so stunning. So yeah, I'm so excited about this. While we're talking about Gatsby, though, we did get some new Gatsby news over here on this side of the pond that Lina DiGeneo will be our next Myrtle. And Austin Colby, who is already in the cast over at Gatsby, he understudies a lot of them. He definitely understudies Gatsby. But Austin Colby, is going to be taking over the role of Tom Buchanan on March 31st. So that's cool. I've never seen anything that Lina DiGeneo has been in. I regretfully never saw Bad Cinderella. I wish that I did. And I've never seen On Your Feet. So I really don't have any feeling towards her being cast as Myrtle. All I can think about is, I'm not your Cinderella, I'm your bad Cinderella. That line alone has overshadowed her entire career. And I feel for my girl for that reason. Like, that sucks. She's probably so talented, but the cringe of that Bad Cinderella press day, it will follow her for the rest of her career. And I think that's unfortunate because I'm sure she's a beautiful talent. So I'll see them, I'm sure, in The Great Gatsby, and that will be my memory of her rather than her little kick while she's spray painting Bad Cinderella. I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. It sucks. It really does suck. Okay, our last news story is a little bit of a deep dive, and I'm going to educate y'all on something because I feel like not enough people know that this is happening. So the news story that has brought this into the forefront is that Hannah Cruz has been cast in the film for Merrily We Roll Along. Do y'all know about this film, Merrily We Roll Along? It is wild. It is being directed by Richard Linklater, and he's known for doing these films like Boyhood that span years. Well, as we know, Merrily We Roll Along, it starts at the end and it brings you all the way to when the duo or trio of friends first met back in college. And it ends decades later when they hate each other and they're old. I mean, not old. They're, I would say, like in their 40s, right? So it spans 20 plus decades, and they are actually filming it over the course of 20 plus years. So cool. I love this concept, and it is only made more awesome by who they have cast. So in the role of Charlie, who is played by Daniel Radcliffe in the most recent production, we have Ben Platt. We are going to get to see Ben Platt grow up through the years, or grow down, I guess you could say. And that is going to be awesome. I really do often think about how much physically Ben Platt has changed over the years. You go back and you look at photos of him from when he was in Dear Evan Hansen or Pitch Perfect, baby face. And now he's very handsome. Honestly, like he was really dorky, and now he's like come into his own. He has facial hair. He's married. He seems very happy. He's grown in his career, and he seems more settled and comfortable and confident in himself. I love the fact that we get to see the trajectory of Ben Platt through the years. That's awesome. In the role played by Lindsay Mendez, Mary, in Merrily We Roll Along, that will be played by Beanie Feldstein. Very good friend of Ben Platt, so that makes perfect sense. And then in the role of Franklin Shepard, who is played by Jonathan Groff, it is going to be Paul Mescal, who we know from Gladiator, who we know he was in Normal People, right? He hasn't sang in anything that I know of other than the SNL skit about Gladiator. I love that. So this is a very interesting trio of people. And now joining the cast as Gussie, we have Hannah Cruz, who we know from The Connector and most recently Suffs. She's so fabulous. Gussie is the like Broadway socialite who is married to Franklin Shepard. So her and Paul Mescal will be a couple in this movie. Where this gets really interesting and dicey and already has proven to be a problem is that when you film something over the course of 20 plus years, things happen. We're living in a world where cancellation is very normal, and they've already had to change the cast. Originally cast in the role of Franklin Shepard was Blake Jenner, who won the Glee project, and he was married to the other girl who was on Glee, and she was also in Supergirl. I don't know her name right now. But they started filming for this movie in 2019. He was cast as Franklin Shepard, and then he, like, this is so sad. He admitted to abusing his wife, and they had to reshoot those, like, first couple of scenes with Paul Mescal, because he was removed from the project. So I really wonder if when they cast Hannah Cruz, if they do a deep dive on her past, make her sign crazy documents that are like, I have never, will never, because there's so much that can go wrong. Whenever I attended this talkback event with Ben Platt, he was asked about this project and he was like, oh my gosh, y'all aren't going to see it for 30 years. Like, why are we even talking about it? It might not even come to fruition. So maybe they're going into this with the expectation that it might not work out and with the hopes that it does. But it's very interesting from the standpoint of being an actor. Like, if I was in Hannah Cruz's shoes, I'd be like, this is the coolest thing in the entire world. I'm going to get to watch this movie and see my life play back and see how I aged. And hopefully we're all still together. And hopefully the movie actually comes out. Like, God forbid something happened to any of these people. A cancellation, I mean, like, imagine, not that I think any of these people would ever be canceled, however, or like worse, get sick, not be able to do the film anymore. Like, these things are so normal that could just throw all of this out of the water and not be possible to make. But on the other side, the flip side, how amazing is it that these actors have steady work for the next 20 plus years, and that they're at the end going to have Merrily We Roll Along, which is going to be a huge movie. I can only expect, probably not quite as big as Wicked, but a really big movie, and everybody's going to be amazed by the fact that it was shot over 20 plus years. And they're casting Broadway talent other than Paul Mescal, who's about to be in an off-Broadway play. It's all Broadway talent. Beanie Feldstein, Ben Platt, Hannah Cruz. I can't wait to see who else they cast. But yeah, they probably make sure that they are so non-problematic. And that's a big risk. That is a big risk when casting the show. But I'm so happy for Hannah Cruz. That is so awesome. This opportunity is way too cool. A Richard Linklater film. Are you kidding? Amazing. So I love that. I'm going to be tracking this movie for the next 20 plus years on From the Mezzanine because it's a fascinating idea. And Merrily We Roll Along is so perfect for it to happen. Next up, he should do last 5 years. He should do last 5 years and have it go over the course of 5 years. Who should we cast? Okay, they need to start young. So, I don't know, Jason Schmidt and Mackenzie Kurtz. I love casting Mackenzie Kurtz and everything. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. That's it. Okay, guys, that's the end of From the Mezzanine. Thank you so much for watching this episode or listening to this episode wherever you are today. On YouTube, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment down below. I do be in my comment section. I love to hear what you guys have to say about the episode. Weigh in. Let me know what you think about these news stories this week. Are you excited for the Merrily We Roll Along movie? Do you think it's actually going to come to fruition? I need to know. You can find everything From the Mezzanine at FromTheMezzanine.com. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at From the Mezzanine Broadway. Thank you once again so much for listening, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye!